All right. This is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, my email, social media. Right now, what I'm doing is, and see how well it works, to have more of a presence of Substack as a form of social media, and by ways of following me, reading my content, my writing content. If you want to get different perspectives of the reading aspect of what I write about versus the listening audio aspect of my podcast. And also, you want to follow me and make comments, is greatly appreciated on Substack. And audio platforms. So I'm going to run down a quick list of some of the audio platforms that I'm on, and I'm expanding to where I am eventually on all of the podcast platforms. So ratings are greatly important, and ratings give me a barometer and an understanding on these platforms of how y'all, all listeners out there, how you all process and think about my podcast and what you feel about certain episodes. And the ratings can help on these platforms. And also, emailing questions, comments, concerns is greatly supported and encouraged. So feel free to email too. So here's a brief list of the audio platforms that I'm on. So Audible, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Pandora, Google Podcasts, just to name a few. So this episode is about the food. I'm tongue-tied for some reason here. But that happens. It's the territory when you're speaking and you get flipped up and all of that nature, and particularly when you want it more natural when you're speaking and providing the content. Yeah, that happens from time to time. So this episode is about the food culture of Providence, Rhode Island. Here we go. Let's dive in. Okay, so here's some thoughts before I get into the nitty-gritty of all of this. But a good example of my aspirations and my inspiration of delving down deep of talking about the cultures and the foods of all you listeners out there, and then on Substack when I initially started it, writing with the food culture, and now I'm moving on to the music aspect of it. So bizarre foods, it unfortunately, I guess you want to say the new generation of it now, I think it might be still on Max. It's sort of, as they say, liberal woke on some episodes. That's unfortunate, but in general, some of the new generation of the episodes are pretty conservative, pretty good. So going back to my point, that show is a gem of a delving down into highlighting and putting a, so to speak, a lens on the importance of how food incorporates the mentality and the aspects of a certain culture to where it's more relatable and more understandable for people to get a grasp of what is meant and what is said about that certain culture. So when I thought about this process, I thought about how Andrew Zimmerman, I think Zimmer, how he broke everything down and he talked about things from his point of view about food. And then he has the culinary background to back up what he's saying, and to have also the knowledge and because for what I'm understanding, what I some of the things that I know that from memory, that he was already traveling before he started, and he's a chef too, world-renowned chef too, before he got the series on the Travel Channel. And it gives a unique point of view about food, that food is more, it can be more than just something that is placed on the table and for you to use to eat, and be essentially what it, the grasp and the nucleus of it is, food is supposed to be the source of fuel to get you through the activities of life, and it's supposed to be a means to help. Do you use food as the fuel source for your health, for your vitality, and all of these things? But to also have the aspect of understanding that there is a lot that is surrounded with the aspects of food is really unique, and it merges the complexities of how people think and how they feel about certain things. And it is really more pronounced, I think, in food. And it speaks a lot more to the mentality of a society, of a culture, more prevalent than other things as far as literature and music or what have you. It says this simply: I think of food as this sort of means of expression. Now, it's not also, on the other aspect of this, it's not always this black and white thing that I am what I eat. It's more complex than that. But on the aspects of that, it's more digestible to understand how people feel about certain things when you get a good grasp of what they eat and how and why certain things are at the center of their food culture, so to speak, of what they find pride in. All right, so here we go. Let's go into it. The food culture, and also on top of that, the different places that are renowned and are suggested from a certain article about Providence, Rhode Island. Okay, so whether you're looking for a quick bite to eat or celebrating a special night out, you'll find a wide range of nationally recognized dining options in Providence and through Rhode Island. Vegan and vegetarian dining at Providence restaurants. If you're one of the growing number of Americans who prefer a plant-based diet, you probably know the best vegan and vegetarian restaurants in Providence. But did you know that a wide variety of the Providence restaurants also have vegan-friendly options on their menu? Okay, so plant-friendly pasta If you're in the mood for Italian, head to Carasino's Restaurante on the Federal Hill for one of their vegan meatball or Beyond Meat Italian sausage entrees, or check out the different options that they have as far as plant-friendly restaurateur menu. And my spin on it is also, it's great to have that option, especially if you have issues, dietary issues, but particularly with vegan and beyond those options, beyond meat, things like that, a lot of times they're not all that healthy. To me personally, I think things that are good old fruit, vegetables, things from the ground, and then you have a well-balanced diet that's, a good option. Okay, so as a coastal state, Rhode Island celebrates the bounty of the sea. Succulent lobsters and clams cooked to perfection showcase the best of ocean fare, complemented by fresh local ingredients. However, Rhode Island's culinary range extends beyond seafood. The state's food scene is shaped by the rich mix of cultures that have called it home. Native American, Portuguese, Italian, and Asian influences have added to the delectable diversity of its cuisine. The potpourri of cultural influences creates a variety in a delightful culinary landscape. All right, so exploring the food in Rhode Island. Rhode Island is also known as the Ocean State and is a haven for seafood lovers. The fresh, vibrant flavors of its seafood are integral to the culinary identity. Okay, so quag hogs and clams. Staple ingredients in Rhode Island cuisine include quag hogs and clams shine in local dishes. For instance, oversized clam stuffed with a savory mix of chopped clams, breadcrumbs, and herbs. And then there are the famed clam cakes, a deep-fried, doughy, delicate, teeming with chopped clams. Clam chowder, however, sparks a local debate. Some locals favor the clear broth-based version that highlights the clams, while others prefer a creamy chowder with a rich, milky base. So that's very interesting. And how that also is brought out to the mainstream in other states and other cultures with clam chowder, and the different variations and versions of it, and how that even when you think about it, to even more of a mass appeal with name brands like Campbell's Soup taking it on as a marketed dish for a product sold in major grocery stores, and the appeal of how this is ranged from a state, and how they originated the idea of clam chowder, and then throughout the eastern seaboard, when you get into the aspects of Maine, aspects of Massachusetts, and all of that. It's quite interesting. But as it's suggested in this article, I think it's quite interesting how they say that you should taste both. Because I agree with that. To just get a feel of what you think works well. All right. So the Montauk Oyster Farm. It offers an informative and immersive 90-minute experience filled with interesting and educational insight on the aquatic culture and fisheries. All right, to add to the aspect of that, let's get on to lobsters and crabs. Rhode Island's lobsters and crabs are a feature for the scenes. Imagine opening a steamed lobster at Newport Lobster Shack with its succulent meat bath and melted butter, or savor the sweet, decadent flesh of blue crab. Lobster rolls are a serious affair too. Each roll is generously filled with tender lobster meat, lightly dressed and served in a toasted bun. Some variations include the classic lobster roll that highlights the lobster's natural sweetness, the Rhode Island red spiced up in a hot sauce for an extra thick kick, and a roll topped with warm creamy cheese sauce for a touch of decadence. Alright, so classic Rhode Island dishes. The hot wieners. Rhode Island offers a unique take on the traditional hot dog with the hot wiener, a culinary experience with a rich history. Greek immigrants introduced hot wieners in the early 20th century, securing their place as a staple of Rhode Island's cuisine. A true Rhode Islander with the wiener serves all the way. That's how the best way to serve it up if you're truly from Rhode Island, which features a layer of mustard and meat sauce topping with diced onions and a sprinkle of celery salt. This combination creates a delicate flavor explosion with every bite. Hot wiener is the staples. It is a staples in an establishment throughout the state, with each boast of their unique meat sauce recipe. So, Johnny Cakes. Johnny Cakes is a type of flatbread made from cornmeal, which holds a significant place in Rhode Island's food culture. Native Americans introduced this dish, traditionally cooked on a hot griddle, offering a satisfying mix of crispy and creamy textures. The cornmeal is the secret to the perfect Johnny Cake. Rhode Island provides itself on the stone ground with a white cap flint corn, giving Johnny Cake its ideal texture and subtle sweetness. Some enjoy their Johnny Cakes with butter, while others prefer a drizzle of maple syrup. But either way, it is a timeless classic not to be missed. A top spot would be the Keenan's grist meal. To try your own and find a recipe and learn about the dish history. So, here we go on to Rhode Island's beverages. Rhode Island's beverage reflects the state's diverse food culture, from the official state drink to a locally famous lemonade. The Ocean State's drinks are as enticing as its cuisine. Alright, so let's start out with coffee milk. My personal fave. I am a huge fan of coffee. So, Rhode Island's official state drink, coffee milk, is a delightful blend of milk and coffee syrup, originating from Italian immigrants' love for coffee in the early 20th century. This sweet, caffeinated treat has become a favorite. Rhode Island remains its heart. Rhode Island remains its heart, making it a must-try beverage in local diners, seaside restaurants, or even at home with a bottle of locally produced coffee syrup. Alright, and here we go with the Dale's Lemonade. Dale's Lemonade, a Rhode Island classic, is a slushy mix of lemons, sugar, and ice. The refreshing, tangy drink gained popularity quickly after debuting in Cranston, Rhode Island in the late 1940s. Dale's lemonade is available in a variety of flavors, ranging from the original to the exciting options like watermelon and blueberry. So, the classic lemonade offers a true taste of Rhode Island with the tradition. The cherry variant provides a sweet, tangy twist to the original, and onto that with the mango flavor introducing a tropical touch. So, coffee milk and the Dale's lemonade are integral to Rhode Island's culinary offerings, embodying the state's innovative spirit and committing to delicious beverages that satisfy both locals and visitors. So, rich and farming tradition, Rhode Island passionately espouses the farm-to-table movement, creatively highlighting local and seasonal ingredients in its cuisine. This approach celebrates the state's agricultural abundance. The farm-to-table movement. Rhode Island's culinary scene abounds the eateries supporting the farm-to-table philosophy. These establishments build strong relationships with local farmers, sourcing fresh produce, dairy, and meats. The result is a culinary experience intimately tied to the land, the sea, and the seasons. Menus at these establishments joyfully reflect the changing seasons. Spring introduces dishes featuring asparagus, rhubarb, and fresh peas. Summer serves ripe tomatoes, sweet corn, and juicy berries. Autumn's bounty includes pumpkins, apples, and root vegetables, while winter brings hearty stews made from locally reared meats. These entrees also feature locally brewed beers, wines, and spirits, enhancing the farm-to-table experience. Here are a few examples of that. Braised rabbit with wild mushrooms in the fall, heirloom tomatoes, salad with fresh mozzarella in the summer, pumpkin soup enriched with locally made apple cider in autumn, clam chowder made with clams, sought the same morning in the winter. All right, so instead of listing, I reflect on that. Instead of listing the different eateries, and I'll link that the different listings of a different perspective of what's happening, what's hot in the modern aspect of Rhode Island according to a collegiate point of view. If you're interested, I'll link that source for you. But I think what I'm about to read encapsulates the whole essence a lot, instead of just listing. So, modern eateries. Rhode Island's culinary scene isn't about tradition. It's also about innovation. Contemporary eateries across the state combine traditional ingredients with modern techniques and international flavors. Chefs in Rhode Island push culinary boundaries, crafting surprising and delightful dishes. Whether it's Korean-inspired seafood or Italian-infused farm produce, the estate food scene is a vibrant blend of old and new. These chefs create more than just meals. They create edible art. Every dish is a visual treat, thoughtfully prepared and beautifully presented. Whether you're enjoying just harvesting vegetables or creatively presenting a dish in a modern eatery, Rhode Island's commitment to quality, freshness, and innovation promises an unforgettable dining experience. So I'd like to know what you all think. Especially, it'd be really nice to hear from all of you that listen from Providence, Rhode Island. I'd like to know what you think. And best way to reach me is through email or follow me on Substack and make comments, or just follow me or read my writings and be a subscriber on Substack. So this reaches the end of the Harvard Light. Tune in, turn up, and definitely take care out there in those foreseen waters. Bye-bye now.